Chelsea, welcome to moneyHOP Q&A session. So today we are talking about undergraduate profile. So right from 9th standard or 10th standard or even below that, students are motivated to go abroad and make the living out there because of the high standard of living out there. So can you tell some tips for creating the perfect undergraduate profile so that they get enrolled in their dream universities? So what does universities look for in a profile?
All right. So, see, there are a lot of factors that universities consider, okay, depending on the program, depending on the ranking of the specific university. But the major factors that university consider is obviously A, that is your academics, how well you're at academics. It doesn't need that, okay, I need to be a scholar student, I need to have 90%. No, but at least a decent score that has been, progressive or something of that sort. And then the performance in standardized tests like IELTS, PT, GRE, GMAT. So even if you were average at your studies because of some other factor or because you were very much into co-curriculars at that time, it's fine. You can still prove your competency giving the GRE, GMAT, or maybe SAT tests, okay? Then other one is the extracurricular activities. You can participate in clubs, you can get into leadership roles in colleges, even in schools, there's student council, there's debate club, there's literary club. The other thing I think is, crafting a good LOR and SOP. So generally what students believe that, okay, if we hire an expert and if we pay a good hefty amount to somebody for writing an SOP, it's going to be a great SOP. Yes, it can be because the language is good. But so even I write SOPs, okay. But what I tell the student is that you give me something that you want me to put in the SOP. Because I know the language, but you know yourself better than anybody else. Okay. So if the SOP is, personalized, you're writing a story rather than saying that, okay, I've always been interested in this course since childhood. I wanted to do these. These are all very, generic statements. Instead, if you can start with a story that, okay, my father had a bakery and then I had used to accompany him. And, like that, if you frame a story, it looks touching and it helps. Okay. Even with LORs. Now, in LORs, people generally think that, okay, if I get the professional LOR from the CEO or the academic LOR from the, the university HOD or the school principal, no. LOR is very personal. So if you get it from somebody who's, worked with you closely, like a teacher who's taught you, then I think that's something that's more effective on a profile if going for PG or even UG studies. Yeah, pretty much.
Can we talk a little bit more about extracurricular activities? Uh,
Okay.
because like how much important it is, the more extracurricular activity a person have or a student have, will he or she be more attractive for the university when shortlisting? So how does extracurricular activities work? Because nowadays a lot of parents are keen on sending their their children to extracurricular activities. But when I am studying and all, when I have extracurricular activity, my parents would say, "Why are you wasting time doing this? Focus on study." Now the trend has changed a lot, but like we have to create awareness. So how can external activities help when it comes to study abroad, like admissions in universities?
Okay, so see, the first thing is understanding the difference between extracurricular activities and relevant extracurricular activities. Okay, if you're writing your CV or your personal statement and you're listing down all the activities that you've done in your entire lifetime, you know, the visa officer or the university admissions officer is not interested in all those activities. There is a huge difference between, relevant extracurricular activity. Relevancy is very important because, if you've applied for a job of, say, if you were going for a bachelor's in nursing, and then you're saying that, okay, I was working in my 11th grade vacations as a barista, then that does not count. You can rather add a few volunteer services, or maybe say community services, if you're volunteering with NGOs or some social impact projects or maybe some environment initiative, or maybe that you visited an old age home or something of that sort, then that's more relevant. If you're going for a business profile, you can always say that, okay, I was running a blog, on, some finance thing, or maybe working with a startup, then relevancy is a prime factor that you have to consider when you are choosing your extracurricular activities to pursue, and also to add them in your SOP or LOR or resume, wherever. And yes, they do help, even when it comes to internships, when it comes to, leadership goals like student council or club presidents, or if you're writing research papers, or maybe participating in science fairs, innovative projects, or whatever. So, all those things, yes, they do count. And definitely they are very important, because nowadays they don't want people who are just good at academics and they have no practical exposure. They're not only looking for somebody with great financial muscles or great academics, they want a blend of all the things, okay? And practical exposure is something that they do, give a lot of importance to. So, yeah.
Now let's talk about the student who is keen on going abroad. His or her dream is just going abroad. So let's take the period from 9th to 12th. So that's a very important, like the senior secondary level, and it's the final stages of school life also. So what all things that they should do to secure their dream university abroad?
Okay. So, in grade 9th and 10th, in grade 9, what you can do is you can participate in local and national Olympiads. Like there are a lot of Olympiads like SOF. Okay. Then you can develop good habits like reading good books, reading books that actually shape your life, that give you insights for critical thinking and skills like that. You can also have clarity by reading certain books. And the most important thing that somebody can do in grade 10th is focus on their academics, because that is a prime year where your academics are going to be seen. So in grade 10th and 12th, I suggest that you focus on your academics, but in the same, time, in grade 11th and in grade 9th, you can participate in, you can volunteering projects, internships. Student council is another factor which gives you a chance to, not only if you have good leadership skills, you can definitely showcase them in that. But even if you don't have, and if you aspire to, someday be an entrepreneur or something, then these are little, stepping stones through which you can actually develop and inculcate leadership skills. Another thing that I think students should work on in these prime years is their English skill, okay, their language competency, which is a very important factor, not only in securing admissions, but also doing well when you get admitted into that university. So competency in English is a most important factor, and then public speaking. So yes, I think those things that you should do. And when you are in grade 11th, you can, take career counseling. I think you should take career counseling in grade 10th only, so that, you can have the all the advantages and disadvantages listed out if you want to go for science or commerce or even arts. Some people say that, okay, the smart minds take science. And I mean, okay, which century are you living in, right? So, yes, you can take career counseling. Like at our institute, we have a lot of students coming up to 10th, coming in grade 9 to ask that, okay, ma'am, this is my profile. I'm interested in this. Should I go for science? Should I go for commerce? So you can take career counseling sessions. And then in grade 11th, you can start by IELTS and PTE coaching, GRE, GMAT coaching, you can begin. And you can also start looking at which country do you aim to go to and what are the specific requirements of that particular country. And then in grade 12, you can start applying early for LORs and everything, so that you can complete your documentation and everything in time. Yeah, pretty much.
What about online courses? Because after COVID, a lot of online courses have surfaced, and there are also a lot of professional skill training courses, right? We have a lot such courses in, like there are free courses as well as paid courses. So does students investing on them help in the profile, help in the selection?
Yes, these online courses that are available do significantly strengthen a student's profile. It also depends on the type of courses, the type of internship you're taking. Again, I would like to emphasize on the relevancy factor. Okay, let's say if you are if you are 11th commerce or a 12th commerce student, and if you want to pursue, say, BBA, or maybe say BCom, then you can take creative business skills like say digital marketing or maybe say financial modeling or something of that sort. And there are so many online platforms, like there's Coursera, there's EDX, there's Udemy, there's AWS. There's so many courses and institutions that are actually providing it. One other course, one other platform that is actually providing really good courses is by Government of India. It's an initiative. It's called SWAYAM. Yes, that is a really great platform for students to learn. They have really good courses, and they've recorded videos, but you can still interact with the professionals in chat and everything. You have peer-graded assignments, so that's a really good platform. Yes, and it's by Government of India, so it's valid nationally as well.
Can you tell a little bit more about Swayam, because that's a very good information.
Okay, so initially, when I was trying to learn the French language, I was actually looking for something that was, online and that was convenient. So I was looking for it, and then a friend of mine suggested this. So Swayam is basically it's a government initiative as a matter of whole, and the courses are free. All the courses are free. Only you have to only pay if you want the certificate. So even if you don't want the certificate and you just want to learn the skill, if you're not planning to go abroad and if you just want to learn the skill, then also that's a very good platform for you. There are great courses, and the entire coursework is divided in 3 months and 6 months and then in a year. So they are compartmentalized courses, and it's really helpful. Yes, you can visit the swayam.co website, and it's wonderful.
So in the beginning of the conversation, you told about SOP. So having a very good SOP is key for university admissions. So what are the
Yeah.
common do's and don'ts that students should keep in mind while writing their SOP?
Common do's and don'ts, as I've mentioned earlier, SOP is the most important document in your entire file if you're planning to study abroad, be it a UG course, be it a PG course, or be it a student exchange program, whatever. SOP is all about you, okay? So, as I mentioned earlier, students do hire professionals and they pay a hefty amount to write it, and then it sounds very fabricated and exaggerated, and it has no relevancy with exactly what the story of the student is. So the common don't that I would suggest is that instead of using a very complex English or maybe a jargon, you can make it natural, readable. It should be coherent. Okay. Instead of, there are so many students who take help of Chat GPT and other AI platforms. Okay, taking insights from AI is nowhere a wrong decision, but then just copy pasting it can severely negatively impact your profile. Okay. Even if you are generating the AI content from AI, or if you are polishing or refining the content from AI, I would suggest you to be very, very, careful about it. Also, another don't, a huge don't in the SOP section is that, you know, don't just keep on repeating what you have on your resume. We already have received your resume. So now SOP is a sneak peek into your personal skills. Okay. That what is your motivation? There are a few questions that are must in SOP, that why this course, why this country, why the specific university. So rather than saying that, okay, yes, it's a very good university, it's located in London, it's the heart of UK. I want to go there because it's a very famous city. A lot of immigrants come there. The visa officer or the admission officer is not interested in all those things. They are interested in why, particularly, you as an individual are motivated to pursue a particular course in a particular university. So you can start now. I talk about the do's. Okay, so you can start by a compelling story or a personal experience that has motivated you over the time to pursue a course or to study in a university. Then your SOP should sound that you are lucid about what you want in life. You are passionate, and that you and your story are authentic and it's not fabricated. Okay. Um, Highlight how your past experiences have, shaped future inspirations. For example, if somebody wants to do a bachelor's in, say, say nursing and specializing with maybe in cardiac or something, then you can talk about the, okay, you were having a community volunteering session and there you met a woman and then her story inspired you. Or if you're talking about business, then you can say that, okay, when I was in grade 12, or when I had that gap, or when I was pursuing college, I worked with startups. I used to have my own blog channel. I used to write blogs for them. And that is how it inspired me. That is how I want to become a content writer, or maybe, an entrepreneur. So your story should sound real. Okay. And yes, keep the essay structured. Make sure that you don't have a lot of fonts. It's subtle and it's easy to read. Also, proofread your grammar. It looks very bad if you have grammatical errors. So, yes, those are the major do's and don'ts.
Can you tell some last moment blunders or mistake students commonly make from your experience that is a major red flag when it comes to university admissions?
Okay, so I've been dealing with students who want to go to abroad for almost 4 5 years now. And I mean, let's face it, everybody wants to go to some Ivy League or some tier two university. But then your profile, it might be a very average or mediocre profile. Then and they still apply to only few top universities. Rather than doing that, what you can do is apply in a range of universities. I always tell my students to apply in 6 universities, okay? 6 universities you can count as two universities that are your dream universities, and they can be any universities. It can be Harvard, it can be Cambridge, it can be Columbia, it can be Oxford, any university, Princeton, NYU, Stern, whatever. Other two universities can be really good tier two universities, okay, where there are high chances of you getting an offer letter. And those are all highly ranked universities where you can be a good fit. And the other two universities could be tier two or tier three, but you are sure that the offer letter is going to come. So that you don't waste an entire year or an entire intake in trying if you are rejected by your dream university. Because you can always have, there are always student exchange programs. You can always switch your university in semester two or semester three. All these things are very possible if you work hard on your profile, even after you're admitted in a foreign university. So that is one thing. Another thing is, I've already said, when you are writing your SOP or your resume, only add relevant information. Generic activities or listing too many activities where you did not have any real contribution makes your profile sound vague. So rather than doing that, be specific. Okay. Even when you are writing LORs, it does not have to be in a generic structured format, or maybe say it has to be 200 words or 250 words or 500 words. It can be short and sweet, and it can be from a person who knows you, who can mention two or three incidences where you are outstanding at what you did. So, yes, that is what you can do. Um, Another thing is that many times people come and they choose university based on the ranking. So they are ready to sacrifice the course they actually want to pursue for a university that has a really good ranking. Now, as a student counselor, I would like to say this choice has both pros and cons, okay? So you have to choose a course where you are a good fit. Determining it, the determinants here should not just be university ranking or a city or a country. It should be your long-term career goals, how the entire thing complements your profile, your previous education, what you are passionate about, what the job market is all about, and how it might change in the future. So all these things are very important when you're considering to pick a perfect course or a perfect university. Another thing is documentation. Many times, even to the last moment, students do not have the documentations prepared. Okay, and because of that, they miss a few deadlines. They miss, documents. And if you are, not attaching the document in a proper manner, then it creates, what can I say, not a wrong impression, but I must say it creates a bad impression on the visa officer, on the admissions officer, because they might feel that this is not as important to you as you're trying to show it. So you should create a checklist on your own, review all the university requirements in advance. Another thing that I would like to suggest is, well, I am not in any position to suggest it, but I would still. Many times when you visit a study abroad consultant, they always give you university options where they are commissioned the highest, right? And this generally happens. I've met a lot of students, even in my friend circle. I've had a lot of cases where they come to me and they tell me that, okay, this is the university that's best for me. This is what my student counselor, my study abroad consultant told me. Why are you completely dependent on the consultant? Rather than doing that, let me give you a reality check. Let me put a mirror. Rather than doing that, what you can do is, okay, fine. You take a list from the study abroad consultant, make a diary, do your own research, write down each name of the university, make a pros and cons list, and it can be anything from fees to the city you want, to the country you want, the course you want, the IELTS requirement, or maybe, your academics. Make your own pros and cons. Rather than just saying that, okay, my friend went to this consultant or this course, so I'm going to do the same. No. Do your own research. Each profile is unique, each case is unique. So do your own research rather than blindly trusting anybody else's judgment. Yes, pretty much that.
Chelsea, you brought a lot of fresh as well as amazing insights into this conversation. So the audience who are watching this video would love to know about you. So can you talk about yourself for the audience?
Okay, so my name is Chelsea Sorens and I'm from Surat, Gujarat. I'm also a student and I'm also working with the immigration industry for last 4-5 years now. Currently, I'm working as a consultant at Stride Study Abroad. We're located in Surat, Gujarat, with 3 branches here, and we do provide IELTS coaching, PT coaching. We do have career counseling sessions. Right. So yes, I have been passionate about a lot of things, and I have tried pretty much everything everything I was passionate about, from content writing to writing blogs to writing poems. I was then interested in healthcare, so I'm pursuing my bachelor's in nursing. I'm also passionate about literature, so I'm doing my BA in literature from IGNU University. So yes, pretty much.
Thanks a lot, Chelsea. It was a very insightful conversation. So
thank you so much.